Dr. Amanda Brooks squinted at her monitor, running the calculations for the fourth time. The anomalies hadn't disappeared. If anything, they'd grown more pronounced over the last hour. Dozens of objects, each massive enough to alter local gravitational fields, were decelerating as they passed Mars' orbit. "Hey Jeff, take a look at these readings," she called to her colleague. Dr. Jeffrey Morris wheeled his chair over, coffee mug clutched in his hand like a lifeline during their midnight shift at NASA's Deep Space Monitoring Division. His eyes widened as he processed the data. Those can't be natural objects. The deceleration patterns. He trailed off, tapping commands into Amanda's terminal. "They're uniform. Too uniform." Amanda nodded grimly, already drafting an urgent report for her superiors. The facility's quantum AI was highlighting more disturbing details, energy signatures unlike anything in their database, and mass distributions that suggested internal compartmentalization. Ships. They were looking at ships. Across town, Marine Colonel Jack Reynolds sat on metal bleachers, watching his daughter Emma dominate the high school soccer field. She'd inherited his competitive spirit and her mother's grace, a combination that made her practically unstoppable on the field. The neural implant behind his left ear tingled, a priority message incoming. He maintained his relaxed posture, years of training kicking in as the message scrolled across his augmented reality display. DEFCON level change. Protocol Sleeping Giant activated. Maintain current position. Await further instructions. Jack's heart rate spiked, but his expression remained neutral. They'd drilled for this since the Roswell revelations went public in 2018. He watched Emma score another goal, knowing these might be the last moments of normal life for a very long time. At the Deep Space Monitoring Facility, chaos erupted. The objects had dropped their camouflage, revealing crystalline structures that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. The largest was nearly the size of Manhattan. Multiple contacts, confirmed artificial origin, Amanda announced into the facility's quantum-encrypted channel, detecting energy signatures consistent with theoretical weapon systems. They're positioning themselves in a standard attack formation. The facility's director, Robert Chen, burst into the monitoring room. "Dr. Brooks, what's your assessment?" "Sir, based on their approach vector and formation, these aren't explorers or diplomats. This is an invasion fleet." She pulled up a holographic display showing the ship's trajectory. "They'll reach optimal Earth orbit in approximately 6 hours." Chen nodded, his face grim. "Initiate Protocol Thunderbird, and Amanda." He paused, looking at each person in the room. "Remember your training. Everything we've prepared for leads to this moment." Across the globe, hidden systems began powering up. Quantum computers deep beneath the ocean floor processed vast amounts of data. Specialized defense satellites silently shifted orbits, their true capabilities masked by decades of careful misinformation. At the soccer field, Jack received his next orders. He waited for the game's final whistle, then hugged Emma tight. "Great game, kiddo. Listen, we need to make a quick stop before heading home." Emma recognized something in his tone. They'd practiced this, too. "Is it time for the mountain vacation, Dad?" "Yeah, sweetheart. It's time." They walked calmly to their car, just another father and daughter leaving a soccer game. Nobody noticed that their family sedan could withstand a direct energy weapon hit or that its engine could power a small city. In orbit, the International Space Station's crew watched the alien fleet approach. Commander Sarah Mitchell sent a simple coded message: "The Eagles have landed." Within minutes, the station's innocent-looking solar panels began unfolding into configurations that would have made any engineer question their understanding of physics. The Zextheri fleet's initial scans of Earth showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a primitive civilization still burning fossil fuels, armed with basic projectile weapons and simple fission devices. Their supreme commander, Valoth, prepared to issue the standard ultimatum, confident this would be another easy conquest for the Empire. They had no idea they'd just made the biggest miscalculation in their species' history. The United Nations General Assembly fell silent as the hologram materialized. The Zextheri ambassador, Valoth, towered over the podium at 12 feet tall, his crystalline armor refracting light in hypnotic patterns. Pentagon analyst Jessica Martinez watched the transmission from her underground office, her fingers dancing across holographic displays as she initiated Operation Sleeping Giant's first phase. People of Earth, Valoth's translated voice boomed through the chamber. The Zextheri Empire brings you civilization's greatest gift, unity through submission. Your world has 72 hours to surrender all military assets and pledge absolute loyalty to the Empire. Resistance has proven futile for thousands of worlds before you. Choose wisely. In the assembly hall, world leaders maintained carefully rehearsed expressions of shock and fear. The Chinese premier even let his hands tremble as he gripped his armrests. A masterful touch, Jessica thought. The performance had to be perfect. General David Thompson stood in the Pentagon's Strategic Command Center, watching multiple holographic feeds simultaneously. On one screen, a Zextheri cruiser adjusted its orbit. On another, stock markets worldwide plunged as panic spread. Perfect. Let them think we're falling apart. Status report, he commanded. Sleeper cells activated in all 9 solar system outposts, sir, his aide reported. Agent Wilson's team is in position near the Kuiper Belt station. The Europan base reports all systems green. And our guests. Still watching exactly what we want them to see, sir. Their quantum scanners are detecting our decoy facilities right on schedule. In the Mare Tranquillitatis, beneath the moon's serene surface, Commander Lauren Reynolds activated her base's cloaking systems. The Zextheri ships passing overhead would detect only an abandoned mining operation, not the massive shipyards humming with activity below. Valoth received the initial intelligence reports in his flagship's command chamber. These humans still use primitive chemical rockets, he noted with satisfaction. Their most advanced weapons are simple nuclear devices. Their orbital defense capability is negligible. His tactical officer, Kexvi, magnified an image of a North American military base. They're scrambling their aircraft, Supreme Commander, projectile weapons and basic energy shields. Nothing that could threaten even our smallest support vessels. Jessica Martinez allowed herself a small smile as she read the intercepted Zextheri communications. Their overconfidence was intoxicating. She opened a secure channel to the Europan defense platform. Status of the Quantum Ghost Network. Online and invisible, Mom, came the response. Their scans are bouncing off our dummy signatures perfectly. They're seeing exactly 20 years of carefully crafted technological development, nothing more. In orbit, the International Space Station continued its innocent trajectory. Inside, Commander Mitchell's crew had sealed themselves into hidden compartments as automated systems maintained the illusion of routine scientific research. The station's true purpose, a massive quantum computing hub controlling thousands of microsatellites, remained undetected. General Thompson received word that the president had been safely transferred to the Cheyenne Mountain bunker. Not the one the Zextheri could detect, but the real one, 20 levels below it. He thought about his son serving on the Jupiter defense platform, maintaining their cover as a deep space research station. Sir, his aide interrupted his thoughts. The Chinese Space Force reports their lunar shadow fleet is ready. The Russians confirm their Martian defense grid is armed and cloaked. Valoth watched with growing satisfaction as Earth's military scrambled in apparent panic. Their electromagnetic emissions spoke of chaos and fear. Orbital tracking showed their primitive spacecraft attempting to hide behind their moon. Send the second warning, he commanded. Show them one of our smaller weapons. A Zextheri destroyer fired a precision energy blast at an uninhabited island in the Pacific. The resulting explosion vaporized several square miles of ocean. In her office, Jessica Martinez watched the demonstration through multiple feeds. She sent a single encrypted message. Phase 1 complete. Begin Phase 2. Beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the Mariana Trench, Vast machinery began to move. The game was proceeding exactly as planned. Humanity's wolves were safely hidden in their sheep's clothing, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Dr. Michael O'Connor stood in the heart of the Quantum Forge, 30,000 feet beneath the Pacific Ocean. The facility stretched for miles in every direction, hidden from prying eyes by advanced gravitational distortion fields. Banks of quantum computers hummed softly, coordinating the production of weapons that would make the Zextheri question everything they thought they knew about human technological capabilities. Production cycle reaching critical mass, announced Dr. Rebecca Chen, his second-in-command. Nanite swarms are replicating at optimal efficiency. Battery 7 is ready for deployment. Michael watched through the reinforced window as molecular assemblers constructed another wave of microscopic hunters. Each nanite was smaller than a blood cell, programmed to dismantle Zextheri technology at the atomic level. The aliens' arrogance would be their undoing. They hadn't even bothered to scan for quantum-scale manufacturing signatures. In the asteroid belt, Commander Ashley Wilson piloted her mining vessel through a routine patrol. The ship's exterior looked like it had been cobbled together from spare parts, exactly the level of technology the Zextheri expected. They'd never guessed that beneath the rusty panels lurked a zero-point energy core capable of powering a small city. "Status report from all stations," she commanded. "Beta station reports all green," her tactical officer responded. "Mining drones are maintaining their cover patterns. The Zextheri cruiser passing through Sector 7 is buying the routine completely." Ashley smiled. Each mining drone contained enough firepower to disable a Zextheri destroyer. Their enemies had fallen for the oldest trick in warfare, underestimating their opponent. On the Zextheri command ship, Intelligence Officer Votel compiled his latest report. "Supreme Commander, analysis confirms initial assessments. Their technology is primitive, barely into the atomic age. They've managed to establish a few mining outposts in their asteroid belt, but the equipment is crude. No signs of advanced energy weapons or faster-than-light capabilities." Votel highlighted a holographic display of Earth's orbital defense network. Their satellites use simple radio communications, no quantum entanglement, no gravitational manipulation. They're even still using chemical rockets for space travel. In low Earth orbit, Lieutenant Emma Rodriguez monitored the nanite defense grid from her weather satellite control station. Microscopic machines floated in the upper atmosphere, invisible to conventional scanning methods. Each one carried programming more advanced than anything the Zextheri had encountered in their centuries of conquest. "Grid status nominal," she reported through the quantum-encrypted channel. "Phase 3 dispersal beginning on schedule." Back in the Quantum Forge, Michael received confirmation that the last batch of autonomous hunter-seekers was ready. He thought about his daughter's drawing pinned to his office wall, a crayon masterpiece showing their family standing beneath a bright sun. Everything they'd built here was to protect that future. "Dr. O'Connor," Rebecca called out, "we're detecting increased energy signatures from the Zextheri fleet. They might be preparing for their demonstration of force." "Right on schedule," Michael nodded. "Initiate Protocol Ghostwalker. Let's show them what humanity has been hiding under the waves." Throughout the facility, production lines shifted into maximum output. Quantum-entangled particles spun into complex matrices, forming the cores of weapons that defied conventional physics. Special Forces teams, enhanced with nanotechnology and neural interfaces, prepared for deployment. Commander Wilson received the alert in the asteroid belt. Her fleet of mining ships subtly adjusted their positions, ready to reveal their true nature when the moment came. Each vessel contained crews who had trained for years for this moment, their bodies and minds augmented far beyond normal human limitations. "They still haven't detected the phase shift generators," her tactical officer reported with satisfaction. "Their scans pass right through them." In his undersea command center, Michael opened a secure channel to General Thompson. "Quantum Forge production at 100%, sir. Hunter-seeker swarms are primed and ready. We're go for Phase 3. The general's response was brief. "Execute." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden arsenal stirred to life. The Zextheri Empire was about to learn that appearances could be deceiving, and that some sheep's clothing concealed wolves with very sharp teeth indeed. Supreme Commander Valoth stood on his flagship's bridge, watching Earth rotate beneath him. The deadline had passed, and the humans' pitiful attempts at negotiation had failed. Now it was time to demonstrate the consequences of defying the Zextheri Empire. All batteries, target their major population centers, he commanded. Show them the price of resistance. Captain Ryan Mitchell watched from his stealth carrier, hidden in Jupiter's atmospheric storms, as the alien fleet moved into attack formation. His ship, disguised as a harmless gas collection platform, housed enough firepower to level a continent. All hands to battle stations, he ordered quietly. Quantum sync with Earth Defense Command established. Dr. Harrison's AI network is standing by. The Zextheri ships fired in perfect synchronization. Streams of plasma energy and graviton beams lanced toward Earth's surface. Valoth allowed himself a moment of satisfaction, until the impossible happened. The attacks never reached their targets. Instead, they splashed against an invisible barrier, creating ripples of iridescent energy that spread across Earth's atmosphere like aurora borealis. In the Pentagon's Strategic Command Center, Dr. James Harrison smiled as his quantum AI network processed the attack patterns in real time. Shield grid holding at 98%, reported his assistant. The nanite reinforcement matrix is adapting to their weapon frequencies. Valoth's mandibles clicked in agitation. Impossible. Their technology is primitive. Where did this defense system come from? Supreme Commander, his sensor officer called out. We're detecting energy signatures. Everywhere. The asteroids, the gas mining platforms, even their debris fields. They're all weapons free, Captain Mitchell commanded. His carrier shed its atmospheric camouflage, like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet revealed itself. Mining ships transformed into battle cruisers. Debris fields coalesced into defense platforms. Even the ice chunks in Saturn's rings turned out to be cloaked weapon platforms. Multiple enemy contacts, screamed the Zextheri tactical officer. They're surrounding us. The first wave of human attacks came not from ships, but from the nanite clouds seeded throughout the solar system. Microscopic machines swarmed over Zextheri vessels, beginning their work at the molecular level. Weapon ports sealed themselves shut. Hull plates began to transform. By the Empire, Valoth whispered as he watched his fleet's most powerful weapons dissolve into useless slag. Dr. Harrison's quantum AI moved through the aliens' networks like a digital phantom, dismantling their coordination capabilities. Ships lost contact with each other as their quantum communication systems fell to the human virus. Launch the fighter squadrons, Mitchell ordered. His carriers disgorged swarms of aerospace craft that had been waiting for this moment for years. Each pilot was neural linked to their machine, moving with impossible precision through the chaos of battle. In orbit, the International Space Station's innocent-looking solar panels unfurled into massive energy collection arrays. Commander Sarah Mitchell activated the station's true weapons, gravitational pulse generators that could tear ships apart at the atomic level. We're being overwhelmed, Valoth's second-in-command reported. Their technology. It's centuries beyond what our scans showed. We need to retreat. But retreat wasn't an option. Human ships appeared from nowhere, using phase shift technology to bypass Zextheri shields entirely. Each vessel carried weapons specifically designed to counter Imperial technology, created from decades of studying crashed scout ships. Launch the emergency beacon, Valoth commanded. The Empire must be warned. The beacon launched, then immediately vanished. In his command center, Dr. Harrison watched with satisfaction as his AI intercepted and contained the signal. Not today, he murmured. The Empire won't be getting any warnings. Captain Mitchell surveyed the battle from his command chair. The Zextheri fleet, once so proud and unstoppable, was being systematically dismantled by the very civilization they'd dismissed as primitive. "Send word to Earth Defense Command," he ordered. "Phase 4 is ready to begin. It's time to show them what humanity can really do." The real battle was just beginning, and humanity's arsenal still held many surprises for their would-be conquerors. Major Catherine "Ghost" Sullivan's quantum-enhanced muscles tensed as she phased through the Zextheri flagship's outer hull. Her stealth suit rendered her invisible not just to sight, but to every scanning frequency the aliens possessed. 20 years of neural augmentation and special forces training had prepared her for this moment. "Ghost Team, status check," she subvocalized through the quantum comlink. "Spectre 1, in position near their engine core. Spectre 2, approaching weapons control. Spectre 3, navigating to their quantum computer banks." Her team moved like shadows through the massive vessel, their phase shift technology allowing them to pass through solid matter at will. Each operator carried enough advanced nano-weaponry to disable a small fleet. Above Saturn, Admiral William Foster watched his fleet emerge from its decades-long hiding place. Hundreds of ships, disguised as ice fragments in the planet's rings, revealed their true nature. Each vessel bristled with weapons that violated what the Zextheri thought possible about physics. "All ships, execute battle pattern Prometheus," he commanded. "Show them what humanity has been keeping in reserve." The Zextheri bridge crew stared in horror as their tactical displays lit up with new contacts. What they'd dismissed as natural ice formations were transforming into an armada that dwarfed their own. Inside the flagship, Catherine reached the central command node. "Beginning upload of the quantum virus," she reported, placing a tiny device against a crystalline computer core. Dr. Harrison's AI began its work, spreading through the alien systems like digital wildfire. "Supreme Commander," a Zextheri officer cried out, "our systems are being corrupted. The humans, they're inside our quantum network." Valoff watched helplessly as his ship's displays flickered and died. Throughout the vessel, automated defense systems turned against their own crews. Doors sealed randomly, trapping soldiers in corridors. Artificial gravity fluctuated wildly. "Multiple hull breaches detected," Catherine reported with satisfaction. The nanites she'd released were consuming the alien metal, converting it into more of themselves. Beginning Phase 2 of internal sabotage. Admiral Foster's fleet struck with surgical precision. Ships equipped with zero-point energy weapons targeted the Zextheri vessel's vulnerable spots, their attacks coordinated by quantum computers that could predict enemy movements before they happened. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the enemy fleet is attempting to regroup near Mars orbit." Foster allowed himself a grim smile. "Perfect. Signal the Martian defense grid to activate." Beneath the red planet's surface, automated weapon platforms awoke from their long slumber. What the Zextheri had scanned as natural magnetic field variations revealed themselves as a comprehensive defense network. On the flagship, Catherine encountered her first real resistance. A squad of Zextheri warriors rounded a corner, energy weapons charged. She smiled beneath her stealth suit and activated her neural combat enhancers. Time seemed to slow as her augmented reflexes took over. "Contact," she reported calmly as she moved faster than the aliens could track. Her nanoblades sliced through their weapons like they were made of paper. "Resistance is minimal." Admiral Foster received confirmation that the flagship's defenses were compromised. "All ships, commence final approach. Show them the full extent of human ingenuity." His fleet's formation shifted, creating a geometric pattern that the Zextheri computers couldn't process. Energy began to flow between the ships, forming a lattice of pure power that encased the remaining alien vessels. "The primitives," Valoff whispered in disbelief. "They were never primitive at all." Catherine reached the flagship's bridge, her team converging from different directions. The Zextheri commander turned to face her as she materialized from thin air, her stealth field deactivating. "Your empire made a serious mistake," she said, her voice calm. "You assumed that because we didn't flaunt our technology, we didn't have it. That was your first and last error. Outside, humanity's fleet closed the net. The age of hiding their true capabilities was over. Now it was time to show the galaxy exactly what Earth could do when pushed too far. Dr. Thomas Anderson watched streams of quantum data flow across his holographic displays as the Ghost Protocol ravaged the Zextheri communications network. The aliens' desperate distress calls transformed into something else entirely as they passed through Earth's quantum interceptors. Message modification complete, he reported to Strategic Command. Any Zextheri reinforcements will receive warnings of total defeat instead of calls for help. Adding visual data now. The doctored transmission showed Earth's forces decimating the invasion fleet. Images carefully crafted to strike fear into any would-be reinforcements. Each message carried embedded quantum viruses, ready to infect any system that received them. Lieutenant Sarah Barnes led her strike team through the disabled Zextheri destroyer Eternal Dominion. Her squad moved with practiced precision, their enhanced combat suits allowing them to navigate through sections of the ship where the artificial gravity had failed. Engineering secured, her second-in-command reported. Their quantum drive technology is intact. Research teams are beginning analysis. Sarah smiled behind her helmet visor. The Zextheri had unknowingly delivered exactly what humanity needed, working examples of their most advanced technology. Not that Earth really needed them anymore, but the data would help verify their own parallel developments. In orbit around Jupiter, the remaining Zextheri ships attempted to regroup. Their formation, once perfect and intimidating, now resembled a scattered flock of panicked birds. Captain Elena Rodriguez watched from her stealth cruiser as the alien vessels tried to coordinate their movements using primitive radio signals, their quantum communications thoroughly corrupted by human eye. Target their command and control nodes, she ordered. Let's show them what our primitive weapons can do. Her ship's main weapon powered up, a gravitational lance that could literally tear space-time. The technology had been developed decades ago, but kept hidden, waiting for this moment. The beam lanced out, invisible until it struck its target. The Zextheri vessel didn't explode. It imploded, crushed by forces that rewrote the local laws of physics. On Earth, in the Quantum Defense Center beneath Mount McKinley, General Michael Hayes monitored the battle's progress. Holographic displays showed human forces systematically dismantling the invasion fleet. Each engagement revealed another layer of Earth's carefully hidden capabilities. "Sir," his tactical officer called out, "we're detecting quantum fluctuations. They're attempting to open a wormhole." Hayes nodded calmly. "Right on schedule. Dr. Anderson, execute Phase 6. In his laboratory, Anderson input the final commands. Years of studying Zextheri technology had prepared them for this moment. As the aliens attempted to create an escape route, they found their wormhole technology turned against them. Voloth watched in horror as the emergency wormhole collapsed in on itself. Impossible. They've weaponized the quantum fabric itself. Through the failing quantum network, he received fragments of communications from other ships. Human vessels seemed to appear from nowhere, their phase shift technology making a mockery of Zextheri shields. Nanite swarms consumed weapon systems and hull plating alike. Lieutenant Barnes reached the destroyer's bridge, her team securing the command staff with practiced efficiency. The alien captain stared at her with a mixture of fear and disbelief. "How?" he demanded. "Your species was supposed to be primitive." Sarah removed her helmet, revealing a neural interface that glowed softly at her temples. "We learned long ago that appearing weak when you are strong gives you an advantage. Your empire taught us that lesson well. We've been studying you since your first scout ships crashed on Earth centuries ago." In the Quantum Defense Center, Hayes received confirmation that the last Zextheri ships were either disabled or contained. "Begin broadcast on all frequencies," he ordered. "Show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity." Anderson's modified transmissions spread through the Empire's quantum network, carrying with them images of their fleet's total defeat. But these weren't just recordings. Each transmission contained sophisticated quantum algorithms that began dismantling the Empire's communication infrastructure from within. The message was clear. Humanity had emerged from hiding, and the galaxy would never be the same. Director Rebecca Morgan stood before the holographic display in the Terran Intelligence Service headquarters, watching the cascade of rebellion sweep across the galaxy. Every encrypted quantum transmission from Earth carried proof of the Zex theory defeat, spreading through the Empire's own network like a digital wildfire. Confirmation from the Centauri sector, her analyst reported. 3 more systems have declared independence. The Empire's garrison fleets are standing down or deserting entirely. Rebecca allowed herself a small smile. The Zex theory's greatest weapon had always been their aura of invincibility. Now that illusion lay shattered among the wreckage of their fleet, Colonel Marcus Hayes piloted his quantum-shielded transport through the debris field above Proxima Colony, one of the Empire's former slave worlds. Behind his ship, a fleet of humanitarian vessels carried supplies and medical aid. The colony's inhabitants, blue-skinned humanoids called the Nexeri, watched in awe as human ships descended from the sky. "This is Colonel Hayes of the Terran Defense Force," he broadcast in multiple languages. "We bring food, medicine, and freedom. The Empire's reign is over." The Nexeri leader, her wings shimmering with iridescent patterns, approached the landing zone. "You defeated them?" she asked, hope and disbelief warring in her voice. "Truly." Marcus activated a holographic projection showing the battle at Earth. The Nexeri gathered around, watching humanity's hidden technology unveil itself and systematically dismantle the Imperial fleet. "We bring more than just aid," he explained. "We bring knowledge, ways to defend yourselves against any future attempts at conquest. Earth stands ready to help all species maintain their independence." In the Zex theory capital system, the Imperial Palace experienced its first siege in 10,000 years. Admiral Jessica Chen watched from her flagship as former slave species, armed with Earth-provided defense technology, dismantled the Empire's home fleet. "The quantum network is fully under our control," her communications officer reported. "The Empire can no longer coordinate its remaining forces." Jessica nodded. "Broadcast the surrender terms again. Let them know that Earth doesn't seek conquest, only justice and freedom for all species." Back on Earth, Dr. Michael O'Connor reviewed the data streaming in from liberated worlds. Each former Imperial colony brought new scientific knowledge, different perspectives on physics, biology, and technology. Humanity's hidden advancement was accelerating even further through peaceful exchange. "Sir," his assistant called out, "the Andromeda sector is requesting technical advisors. They want to implement our quantum shield technology." Michael thought of his daughter's crayon drawing, still pinned to his office wall. Now she would grow up in a galaxy where cooperation replaced conquest, where humanity's strength served to protect rather than dominate. In the ruins of the Imperial Palace, Rebecca Morgan met with representatives from 50 former slave species. The Grand Chamber, once reserved for receiving tribute from conquered worlds, now hosted discussions of mutual defense and trade agreements. "Earth's victory showed us something crucial," she addressed the assembly. "Technology alone doesn't determine superiority. It's how you use it, and why. We hid our capabilities not out of fear, but because we understood that appearing weak can be a strength." The representatives murmured in agreement. Many of their civilizations had already begun adopting Earth's strategic doctrine, combining advanced technology with careful discretion. Colonel Hayes landed on another liberated world, this time bringing teachers and engineers along with supplies. Each freed species received not just aid, but the means to defend themselves, carefully altered versions of Earth's technology, ensuring no single power could ever dominate the galaxy again. The Empire thought physical conquest was power, he explained to a group of young aliens gathered around his ship. "Earth knows better. True strength lies in lifting others up, in building bridges instead of walls." As Rebecca concluded the diplomatic session, she received word that the last Imperial holdouts had surrendered. The galaxy was entering a new age, one shaped not by conquest and submission, but by cooperation and mutual respect. And it had all begun because an empire made the fatal mistake of judging humanity by appearances alone. Ambassador Kevin Richardson stood at the podium in the newly established Galactic Conclave, Earth's quantum-powered holographic projectors allowing his words to reach every liberated world simultaneously. The chamber, built from crystalline structures that once adorned the Imperial Palace, now served as a symbol of cooperation rather than conquest. 1 year ago, he began, the Zextheri Empire believed they found an easy conquest. Instead, they discovered humanity's greatest strength, our ability to unite, adapt, and rise above the cycle of domination that plagued this galaxy for millennia. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Lisa Chen supervised joint military exercises between former enemies. Zextheri ships, now crewed by a mix of species including reformed Imperial officers, practiced alongside vessels from 24 different civilizations. Each craft incorporated elements of Earth's technology, modified to work with their unique physiologies and cultural approaches to warfare. Pattern Gamma complete, her alien second-in-command reported. The Nexari wings are demonstrating exceptional skill with the phase shift maneuvers. Lisa smiled. The former slave species had proved remarkably adaptable, especially once freed from Imperial restrictions on technological development. Begin Pattern Delta, she ordered. Let's show them how Earth's stealth systems can complement their natural abilities. Deep beneath the Pacific, Dr. Michael O'Connor led a team of scientists through the Quantum Forge. The facility, once Earth's most closely guarded secret, now served as a teaching center for the galaxy's brightest minds. The key wasn't just developing the technology, he explained to his interstellar students. It was understanding when not to use it. Power restrained is often greater than power displayed. Among his students sat former Imperial scientists, their crystalline features reflecting the blue glow of quantum processors. They had discovered that Earth's apparent technological leaps weren't miracles. They were the result of careful study, including examination of their own crashed scout ships. In the diplomatic quarter of New Geneva, Director Rebecca Morgan met with Valoth, the former Supreme Commander who had led the invasion of Earth. The once proud Zextheri wore simple civilian clothes, his manner humbled by experience. "We never understood," he admitted. "We saw technology as something to flaunt, to dominate. You showed us it can be a tool for unity instead." Rebecca nodded. Earth learned long ago that true strength isn't about destroying enemies. It's about turning them into friends. That's why we're offering rehabilitation instead of punishment to your people. Ambassador Richardson continued his address, his words echoing across the stars. The Terran Defense Coalition isn't an empire. It's a partnership. Each member maintains their independence while contributing their unique strengths to our mutual defense. In low Earth orbit, the International Space Station had transformed into an interstellar cultural center. Commander Sarah Mitchell watched ships from across the galaxy dock at its expanded ports, bringing scientists, artists, and diplomats to exchange knowledge and ideas. Another delegation from the Andromeda sector requesting landing clearance, her traffic controller reported. They're bringing new insights on quantum entanglement theory. Back in the conclave chamber, Kevin reached the heart of his message. Humanity's greatest weapon was never our hidden technology. It was our understanding that diversity breeds strength, that cooperation trumps conquest, and that the most powerful force in the universe is the desire for freedom. The assembled representatives, representing species from across the galaxy, rose in applause. Among them stood Colonel Marcus Hayes, now director of the Interstellar Aid Initiative. Beside him, the Nexari leader's wings shimmered with patterns of joy and hope. Earth extends its hand in friendship to all species, Kevin concluded, including those who once sought to conquer us. For in this vast galaxy, we are all stronger together than we ever were apart. As his words faded, the holographic displays showed scenes from across known space. Former slave worlds rebuilding with Earth's help, mixed-species crews working together on advanced starships, and children from 100 different civilizations learning side by side. The Zextheri Empire's greatest miscalculation hadn't just been underestimating Earth's technology. It had been failing to understand that true power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to build, to unite, and to lift others up alongside yourself.